Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we delve into Brain Rules by John Medina, a molecular biologist, research consultant, and the mind behind the founding of the Brain Center for Applied Learning Research and the Talaris Research Institute. Medina brings his expertise into the limelight, offering a deep dive into the functioning of the human brain. Brain Rules presents a captivating exploration of how our brains operate and provides practical tips to harness this knowledge to enhance our cognitive functions. If you've ever wondered how to boost your productivity, improve your memory, or optimize your learning, this book is your guide. Medina explains the fundamentals of brain function and reveals how engaging all your senses can transform the way you absorb information, making learning an intuitive process. Whether you are a student eager to refine your study habits, a professional aiming to maximize efficiency in the workplace, or a psychologist or neuroscientist specializing in cognitive functions, Brain Rules offers insights that are not only educational but also immensely applicable to everyday life. Join us as we summarize the key points of this enlightening text, transforming complex scientific concepts into actionable knowledge that can lead to real change in how we think and perform. Brain Rules: 12 Principles for Surviving and Thriving at Work, Home, and School. Introduction: Discover how to supercharge your brain's performance. Have you ever wondered if there's a way to boost your brain's capabilities? Perhaps you've experimented with listening to Mozart while studying, or maintained a diary to enhance your memory. This intriguing exploration into the human brain unveils some practical techniques to optimize its function. From the benefits of regular exercise and the necessity of ample sleep, to the advantages of engaging multiple senses during learning, these insights are designed to fine-tune your cognitive skills. Uncover the fascinating reasons behind why an amputee might still experience sensations from a missing limb by merely using a mirror, and learn about a Russian journalist who could effortlessly recall strings of numbers even after 15 years. Plus, find out why turning in early tonight could be the best favor you do for your brain. Through understanding these brain rules, you'll not only increase your knowledge, but also enhance the overall health and efficiency of your brain. Whether it's leveraging physical activity to boost mental clarity, or understanding the profound impact of a good night's sleep on memory retention, this summary offers valuable tactics for anyone looking to improve their cognitive function and lead a smarter, healthier life. Part 1. Unleash your brain's potential through regular exercise. Have you ever considered the active lifestyle of our ancient ancestors, the Homo sapiens, and its impact on our brain development today? It turns out that our forebears covered an impressive range of 10 to 20 kilometers daily by foot, indicating that our brains evolved not during periods of rest, but through continuous movement. Engaging in regular exercise has far-reaching effects beyond just physical health. As you work out, there is increased blood flow to all parts of your body, which allows your body to generate more energy from the food you consume. More fascinating is how exercise initiates the building of new blood vessels, improving the delivery system of essential nutrients and effective waste removal throughout the body. Like an upgraded roadway system that enhances access and reliability, exercise boosts your circulatory roads, facilitating better health and sharper cognitive functions. The increase in physical activity not only energizes us but also promotes clearer and more effective thinking. Looking deeper into physiological benefits, regular exercise catalyzes the production of vital hormones, such as brain-derived neurotrophic factor or BDNF. Known as one of the most potent growth hormones in the brain, BDNF plays a critical role in maintaining healthy neurons and fostering connections between them. Moreover, it promotes the growth of new brain cells, fundamentally enhancing brain health and resilience. Thus, embracing a routine of physical activity is akin to giving your brain a continually refreshing boost, laying the foundation for a healthier, more dynamic brain and overall well-being. So, next time you consider skipping that workout, remember it's not just your body that benefits, your brain does too. Part 2. Embrace your unique sleep cycle to boost brain function. Did you know that the sleep risks our ancestors took by rendering themselves vulnerable to predators underline just how crucial a good night's rest is? Yes, sleeping plays a fundamental evolutionary role, rejuvenating both our mind and body crucially. When sleep eludes us, it not only leaves us feeling irritable and exhausted, but also significantly impairs our cognitive functions. The concept of sleep debt, where sleep deficiency accumulates over time, shows how vital regular and sufficient sleep is for brain health. For example, studies involving soldiers who missed a night's sleep demonstrated a stark 30% drop in cognitive abilities after just one sleepless night. Furthermore, a prolonged restriction to less than 6 hours a night for 5 consecutive nights mirrored the cognitive decline of going without sleep for 2 full days. Interestingly, each individual has an inherent sleep pattern aptly suited to their biological needs. Research indicates those who align their lifestyles with their natural sleep rhythms tend to exhibit enhanced cognitive functions. Identifying whether you're a lark who thrives in the early hours of the morning, an owl who peaks in the evening, or a hummingbird who fluctuates between these patterns can be immensely beneficial. Understanding and adhering to your personal sleep style, whether you're among the 10% of early risers known as larks, the 10% of night owls, or the hummingbird majority that adapts between these extremes, can greatly improve how you feel and think. Therefore, to harness the full cognitive benefits and ensure optimal brain functionality, it's crucial to respect and follow your natural sleep cycle. Prioritizing sufficient and consistent sleep is not merely about physical rest. It's a critical investment in your cognitive resilience and overall health. Part 3. Combat chronic stress to safeguard your memory and cognitive skills. You're likely familiar with the term fight or flight, a survival mechanism that kicks in during stressful situations, helping us evade danger. While acute stress can be a lifesaver, pushing us to react swiftly to threats, chronic stress does the opposite, debilitating our mental functions over time. Persistent stress not only strips away our sense of control, leaving us feeling powerless in the face of challenges, but it also stops our brains from processing new information effectively. This phenomenon was first studied in depth by psychologist Martin Seligman in the late 1960s through experiments that led to the discovery of what is known today as learned helplessness. In these experiments, dogs subjected to repeated electrical shocks initially reacted by howling and attempting to escape. Over time, however, those subjected to continuous shocks stopped trying to avoid them, even when opportunities to escape were obvious. They simply cowered, assuming their efforts would be futile. This kind of debilitating stress has brutal effects on human cognition as well. Chronically stressed individuals suffer from significantly reduced capabilities in mathematical reasoning, language processing, and concentrated thought. Moreover, their memory performance can plummet by up to 50%, and they often experience a decline in executive functions necessary for effective problem solving and self regulation. Therefore, while moderate stress can indeed stimulate necessary action, excessive stress corrodes our mental faculties and overall health. It's crucial to recognize the signs of chronic stress and take proactive steps to mitigate its impact, ensuring both our mental acuity and well-being are preserved. Part 4. Focus on what matters, how your brain filters out the noise. Right now, as you engage with this content, your brain is bustling with activity. Millions of sensory neurons are firing off, each vying for your attention. Yet, only those deemed most significant by your brain actually make it into your conscious awareness. The rest fade into the background, unnoticed. Take a moment to think about your feet. Chances are you weren't aware of them until they were mentioned. That's because your brain prioritizes information based on its relevance to your current needs or emotions. Our cognitive systems are fine-tuned to detect threats, opportunities, and patterns essential for survival. This evolutionary trait has been crucial. Without it, our ancestors might not have avoided predators or found mates, jeopardizing the continuation of their genes. This selective attention allows our brains to focus on what's truly important, discarding unnecessary data. Without such filtering, the sheer volume of sensory input could lead to cognitive overload, severely impairing our ability to function effectively. Consider this memory exercise. Try to recall the following items: raincoat, sandals, sunglasses, umbrella, swimsuit, and boots. Now, organize these items into categories like beach gear, sunglasses, swimsuit, sandals, and rain gear, umbrella, raincoat, boots. Studies show that structuring information this way enhances our recall by 40%. This illustrates a key point. Structured, meaningful information is processed more efficiently by our brains. By focusing our attention on what's important and presenting data in organized, relevant groups, we minimize distractions and enhance memory retention. This principle isn't just useful for individual cognition, it's also crucial in communication. If you're delivering a presentation, for example, keep it concise, ideally under 10 minutes, to prevent overwhelming your audience's cognitive capacities. By streamlining the information you share and aligning it with what matters most, you ensure greater engagement and comprehension. Part 5. Life experiences shape your unique neural landscape. Consider Michael Jordan, the basketball legend who unexpectedly switched to baseball in 1994, only to return to basketball after struggling in the new sport. This may seem surprising given his athletic prowess, but it highlights an important truth about our brains. They are uniquely wired based on our experiences. What we encounter and learn doesn't just influence our brain, it fundamentally alters its wiring. This concept was vividly demonstrated in an experiment where neurosurgeons showed a man various images, including several of Jennifer Aniston. Each time her image appeared, a specific neuron lit up, but it remained inactive for other images. This wasn't because the subject had any particular fixation on Jennifer Aniston. Rather, his brain had formed a distinct pathway responsive to her image due to previous exposures. This sensitivity to external stimuli allows our brains to adapt and rewire continuously. It's crucial to note that while the human brain retains a basic structure at birth, its most significant development stretches well into our early 20s, with more subtle changes ongoing into our 40s. Even in childhood, there is considerable variability in how our neural pathways are formed. For instance, roughly 10% of children at the age of 6 are not neurologically primed for reading. Yet, educational systems often overlook such neural diversity, expecting uniform learning capabilities and schedules from all students. This insight into neural development sheds light on why someone might excel exceptionally in one area while struggling in another. Just as Michael Jordan's expertise was deeply embedded in basketball, each individual's experiences sculpt their neural pathways, rendering them more adept at certain tasks. This realization underscores the importance of aligning activities with our neural strengths, shaped by our unique life experiences. Part 6. Maximize memory retention by making information meaningful. Imagine having the capability to recall detailed sequences of letters and numbers decades later. This was the reality for Solomon Chereshevsky, a Russian journalist with an extraordinary memory. Born in 1886, Chereshevsky could remember complex information years after first encountering it. However, his remarkable memory came with significant drawbacks. He struggled to understand the broader meaning of the information he memorized, such as piecing together the narrative of a book from its individual words. This example underscores a crucial point about human memory. For information to be retained effectively, it must hold meaning. Unlike Chereshevsky, most people benefit from information that can be contextualized and integrated into a larger framework of understanding. To enhance memory retention, try employing spaced repetition. This technique involves revisiting information at set intervals. say every 10 minutes during a 2-hour study session. This method was first systematically explored by Hermann Ebbinghaus, a 19th century German psychologist who discovered that most students forget about 90% of what they learn within a month. However, repetition at spaced intervals significantly boosts retention. Your brain tends to prioritize information it perceives as important, which is often signaled by how frequently it is revisited. When you repeatedly engage with specific data, your brain is more likely to recognize it as valuable and store it more effectively. Another aspect to consider in memory retention is interference, the phenomenon where new information can overshadow existing memories. When we retrieve long-term memories, they re-enter our short-term memory and can be modified or even replaced by new data. This is particularly evident in language learning, where a newly memorized word can cause us to forget a similar, previously learned word. For educators, this insight has practical implications. Teaching isn't just about introducing new concepts. It's crucial to regularly revisit these ideas to truly anchor them in students' long-term memories. By continually reinforcing learning materials and ensuring they are meaningful and well-organized, you can help prevent interference and enhance overall memory retention. Part 7. Enhance your learning by engaging all your senses. Have you ever wondered if you could study more effectively while listening to music? It turns out that our ability to handle multiple sensory inputs simultaneously isn't just about modern multitasking. It's deeply rooted in our evolutionary history. Consider the daily life of early Homo sapiens. Unlike the serene setting of a modern-day study room, our ancestors thrived amidst the hustle of dynamic and sensory-rich environments. They didn't just rely on one sense at a time. Their survival depended on integrating visual, auditory, olfactory, and tactile information simultaneously. Our brains are wired for what's known as integrative processing. This means they're exceptionally good at absorbing and interpreting information from multiple senses at once. A fascinating study highlighting this involved participants watching a silent video of a person speaking. Intriguingly, even without sound, areas in the participants' brains related to auditory processing were active, as if they were hearing the speaker. In contrast, when the video showed only facial expressions without speech, these auditory areas remained idle. This experiment underscores how closely linked our sensory processes are. Visual cues can trigger auditory responses. However, when information is presented through only one sensory channel, our learning isn't as effective. Cognitive psychologist Richard Meyer demonstrated this through an experiment where learning outcomes were significantly better in a group exposed to both visual and auditory information, compared to groups receiving the information through only one of those channels. This might seem counterintuitive. Wouldn't more stimuli simply overload the brain? Not necessarily. Our brains thrive on complex, multisensory input, which they can integrate more effectively than if the same information were delivered via a single sensory route. So if you're studying complex subjects like economics or physics, don't shy away from using multisensory learning tools. Watching educational videos which combine visual and auditory learning could be just as beneficial, if not more so, than sticking strictly to textbooks. This approach not only aligns with our brain's natural inclinations, but might also improve your retention and understanding of the material. Part 8. Boost memory retention with visuals. Our sense of vision is not just dominant, but also incredibly influential in shaping our perception of the world, an attribute that can powerfully enhance learning and memory retention. This was starkly demonstrated in an intriguing experiment with wine experts who failed to distinguish between actual red wine and white wine dyed red. It turns out, what they saw heavily influenced what they believed they tasted, showcasing the persuasive power of visual cues over other senses. In another revealing study, participants were shown 2,500 distinct images briefly for about 10 seconds each. Several days later, they could recall the images with a remarkable 90% accuracy. Even after a year, recall rates impressively hovered around 63%. Conversely, when information was delivered audibly without visual support, recall plummeted to just about 10% after 3 days. However, accompanying spoken information with images boosted retention dramatically to 65%. This phenomenon is known as the pictorial superiority effect, which has been recognized by scientists for over a century. It underscores the principle that visuals significantly impact our ability to remember information compared to auditory cues alone. The dominance of visual input can even override tactile sensations, a fact studied among amputees. In one study, an amputee experienced the illusion of having his amputated arm restored simply by looking at a strategic reflection in a mirror. Despite the lack of physical stimuli, his visual perception was powerful enough to evoke the sensation of a phantom limb. These findings highlight the unparalleled influence of visual stimuli in enhancing cognitive functions like memory. Whether you're preparing a presentation or studying for an exam, integrating visual elements can significantly improve recall and understanding, tapping into the inherent strength of our most dominant sense, vision. Final summary. The human brain is an intricate and powerful organ, adept at processing vast amounts of information. To harness its full potential, it's crucial to understand and cater to its operational needs. Engaging in regular physical exercise boosts cognitive function by enhancing blood flow and stimulating growth factors like BDNF. Ensuring you get sufficient quality sleep is equally important, as it helps consolidate memories and rejuvenate the mind. Avoiding chronic stress is vital, as prolonged stress impairs cognitive abilities and affects memory retention. Embracing multisensory learning methods can also enhance learning efficiency. Our brains are wired to better retain information when multiple senses are engaged simultaneously. Additionally, leveraging the pictorial superiority effect, where visual inputs are more efficiently processed and remembered than information from other senses, can significantly boost recall and understanding. By integrating these strategies, exercise, adequate sleep, stress management, multisensory engagement, and visual enhancements, you not only optimize your brain's functioning, but also unlock greater intellectual capabilities and resilience. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.